All right, welcome everybody around the world. Welcome to all my subscribers. I'm going to say it now and call it now. Wouldn't surprise me if it happened, but this video will probably get more views than my actual videos, regular teachings. Wouldn't surprise me. But what I'm here for today, just spend a few minutes very quickly, is to just kind of once again, but a more recent update on just how dire the situation is for people like me, and especially me, trying to get out all the information and the biblical proofs for the 2024 end days. Right? I keep talking about my book's been out for a year now. I've got dozens of videos easily on it, talking about it over and over. Been talking about this topic on YouTube for 7 years. And right now, in the YouTube searches, you could even type in the title of one of my videos, and you will not be able to find it on YouTube. The reason why? YouTube right now is at the worst ever saturation point for content. Okay? And for smaller YouTube channels like myself, okay, it is very unfair. YouTube did not used to operate like this. I've had channels before that were very successful, millions of views, right? So when they changed their algorithm and search algorithm stuff a couple years ago, it really impacted smaller channels like myself. And if you're a small channel, you can never grow. You know, the odds of you growing are next to none. You just stay stifled. Well, the problem is that you have people out there like me, I'm not the only one, I would hope, who are spreading the true awareness, true biblical reasons to be aware that we're in the end days, that Jesus is arriving. And I mean valid biblical reasons, not hogwash reasons. And yet you can't even hear these watchmen. Okay? It's just, you go search on YouTube, like I said, you could type in the title of one of my videos, and all you will find in the search results are other people's videos talking about whatever to do with 2024. And you could go watch them all, and guess what? You won't learn anything valuable. It is all drivel. It is all nonsense. There's nobody else out there on YouTube that I can find, and I search pretty much every day. There's nobody else out there who is referring to even one of the 7 prophecies that I cover in this book about the end days in the Bible. There isn't even one person addressing these things, such as the prophecy of Daniel. It is absolutely dismal and abysmal. But yet I've been here on YouTube for 7 years. I have over 350, probably over 400 videos on YouTube still active right now. And I would say at least 100 of them probably have 2023, 2024 in the title. But you can't find one of them on a YouTube search. But all you can find is that drivel that's out there. Okay, so I mean, for example, there's a guy who's got a small channel, about 2,000 subscribers. My other active channel has 2,500 subscribers. My other Enoch the Witness channel, right? So it's this one that's a little bit smaller. But this guy, I won't name who he is. Can't remember his name anyways. He only had 2,000 something subscribers. He dropped a video about 3 days ago on 2024. He thinks is the year Jesus returns or whatever, and is the rapture. He's gotten like 11,000 views in like 3 days. There's other channels. There's a guy who put out a 50-second video, poorly edited, where he's pointing at a blue screen and stuff and just basically repeating information he's seen on YouTube for 50 seconds, but he got 500,000 views. Okay, and this is the problem. You have all these people out there who aren't actually doing any of the hard homework. They're really just sitting on their behinds and gleaning information that they see on the internet or on YouTube. Then they go and hash together a little video, and what they're doing is detracting away from the true messengers, the true watchmen, and the true prophets, if there are any prophet. I don't think I'm a prophet, but all the true watchmen out there are getting stifled and drowned out by this drivel nonsense. And you cannot find anything factual or important anymore on YouTube in relation to the end days. Now, God was helping to give me this little illustrative analogy before I was starting the video, and I was just thinking first, right? You know that famous chapter in Ezekiel where it says, if you're the watchman and you know that the army is coming, and you don't take that, alarm and go tell your townspeople, then their blood is on your head. So if you know that the army is coming, it's your duty from God to go and warn the people. Well, I've been warning the people about 2024 since 2016 on YouTube. I've been doing it for 7 years. So I've been trying and trying and trying. And my loyal subscribers know that I continuously, once in a while, come out like I'm doing now and lament at how I cannot reach people. Everybody's flocking over to all these other nonsense videos. Nobody's getting to hear the truth. I even went through the effort of getting my book published to help the truth spread out, right? But everything just, I can't even help advertise for my book on YouTube because no one finds the videos because everything else irrelevant comes up, right? So in terms of the Ezekiel story and the Watchmen, it's like this, like people in my situation, the very few, if any, that are in my situation who have the scriptural basis to prove that 2024 is the end days, the actual valid scriptural basis, okay? It's like we're those watchmen who are aware, they've seen that army is coming. So we know that the end is coming, okay? It's our duty, and we have taken it upon ourselves, like I have for 7 years now, to go and warn the people, okay? So we're doing our duty. We're doing all that we can. I'm just having faith there's others out there in the same shoes as me doing the right thing with the right scripture, right? Assuming there's at least some others out there in the world, right? We're doing all that we can to spread the awareness. Okay. And I think the people out there would want to hear, but the problem is that they can't hear the warning from the watchman. Why? Because when the watchman runs into the town square, he sees tons of other people standing up on podiums. These are all the other TikTokers, YouTubers, and this and that there, making their little 50-second YouTube short videos, their TikTok videos, yakking baseless, senseless, non-valid, non-important information about why they think 2024 is the end, but then harnessing all reaping all the benefits of gleaning the algorithm. Okay. And the watchmen rushed to the marketplace, to the town square to go warn the public, to warn the people, but they see all these other announcers up on podiums. This is what's happening. And that each one on the podium is spreading their own message, an own warning about what is coming. So what do you think is going to happen with all the townspeople? The townspeople are in the town, and one day they go out and see, oh, look, there's about 100 people out there on podiums talking about the end is coming. The end is coming, right? It's going to be 2024 because of this eclipse and that weather and this or that star, right? They don't know who to believe. They'll try to listen to as many as they can. But the problem is that all those people up on the podiums, they're not spouting anything valid or factual or scriptural, nothing sensible. So these people are wasting their time. All the people in the townsfolk are hearing all this uproar. Oh, the end is coming. The end is coming. So they go around and listen to all the podium speakers, and they hear all this information, and it overwhelms their mind. All this statistical data, which is all just jargon, useless information. And then when the real watchmen come running into the town, sweating in desperation because they've worked so hard running through the wilderness to get there to the town to warn everybody, and they sit there and they try to speak out their warning, the true warning from God in the scriptures, right? Like you'll find in my book. And what happens? All the people in the town square don't care. They don't even listen to the watchman. They see the watchman. They see him struggling. They see him proclaiming. They see him quoting the scripture. They see him doing everything right, but they don't care. But I think the people down inside do and would care, but because they've been abused, so to speak, by this, oversaturation of wannabe watchmen. Now, if you want to be a watchman, that's all fine and dandy, but you either are a watchman or you're not. Making little 50-second YouTube, TikTok type videos and parroting information you see on the internet might get you millions of views, but you're not a watchman. The watchmen are people like me who've worked 20 years or more. I did since I was 18 to crack the prophecy of Daniel, and it took me 15 years to crack that. The people working their butts off to solve the enigmas, to solve the prophecies, working their butts off to spread it to the world like I have for 7 years. Nobody hears us, but they hear all these charlatans and wannabes. But they're not watchmen. They're not watchmen. A watchman is one who's out watching, who gathers the warning and does the hard work of making the trek to the town. These people aren't watchmen, they're wannabes. They just want views, they just want subscribers, they want some monetization money, they just want attention. They're attention seekers. That's what it is. Now, some of them out there genuinely mean well. I'm not saying every single last one of them. The problem is that if you want to be a watchman, okay, not everybody's going to get it 100% right, obviously, okay? But still, if you want to be a watchman, that's why I can't knock anybody out there, even if they got it wrong. If they sincerely have been trying and working hard, but they just don't have it right, I'll still shake their hand. You know what I mean? You're working hard and trying to be a watchman. And it's you still qualify as a watchman. You just don't have the facts right, right? But I have a problem with all those people out there saturating the town square and just filling all the ears of all the people with drivel nonsense. Because you know what? I am absolutely confident that my findings in the scripture are correct. I have had a very, very long time to refine this, to comb it over, to cross-examine it. I have done that way harder than most people do at their own work. I trust me, my bookshelf has a lot of different books by a lot of different people. I see so many problems and errors with things when I read them. It's because if you have personal pride in your writing something and you have pride in your own personal theory, you might overlook things that prove your theory wrong. With me, I didn't want to be right. I wanted to know what was right. So whenever I ascertained something, I would dissect it from every conceivable angle. Okay, and that's how I built every single little block for what I theologically believe and with the end days, what I believe. Okay, I've refined it a million times over. It's solid as diamond. It cannot be broken. There's no holes, there's no gaps, no nothing. It's absolutely solid and concrete. It's to the point where if it doesn't happen, then the Bible's not true. Okay, that's how rock solid it is. And the Bible is true, and it's going to happen because every one of the prophecies already came true. The only one left to come true is that Jesus is going to come back to the earth. Okay, every single other thing has already come true. And it's a travesty. And I think that the travesty I'm saying is that nobody's getting to hear the true message, right? And I think that because, I believe that this is the true message. This is the truth. This is the true warning. This is the truth from the scripture, right? God is obviously looking on all of this. And if God has, I'm a sinner, right? I may not get into heaven. I'm not here proclaiming myself on a pedestal of my own. Trust me on that one. God knows that. Okay, he knows that full well. So what was my point again? Anyways, it'll probably come back to me. But oh yes, because if I really believe this is true. God's looking down on all of this, and he knows when the end is coming. Okay, he knows when he's going to send his son and the legions out to the earth. I mean, they might already be here waiting, right? But you know what I mean? He knows when all this is appointed. He knows who are valid watchmen, who is actually watching and knows what's crack-a-lacking, and he's helping them to try and spread the message. Now, can you imagine? Of course, God is helping me. All of my discoveries that I made, 5 out of these 7 are my own discoveries, right? Nobody else on the planet discovered them. They're not getting any attention, which is pathetic. It makes the earth look pathetic. I mean, you got so many mundane things recorded in all the textbooks, but these earth-shattering revelations, no, nobody seems to care. God was definitely behind me and helped me discover every last one of those things. I could not have done it by myself. Yes, I did the hard work of staying up late doing studies for hours every day to achieve it over many, 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 many years. But still, if God didn't do his part, I wouldn't have discovered any of those things. Okay? So God is undoubtedly going to be very upset and frustrated. If he's looking down and seeing that his watchmen are trying to do their duty, trying to get the message out there, they're actually taking the message out there, but yet nobody's hearing it. But it's not really the people's fault because the people want to hear true facts. The people would want to hear. People would want to hear this. The average person would want to hear what's in this book. They wouldn't want to hear the drivel nonsense that's out there on YouTube. I'm telling you now. You don't want to hear some person mumble jumble about an eclipse that took place in America as if that had any blinking relevance to Israel and Jerusalem, acting like, oh, it's the end of the world. When you have solar eclipses every single year, they don't know the first thing about astronomy. You got people out there, thousands of them, making waffling videos like this. That is going to be frustrating God. And I think the people making that jargon content, God is going to hold accountable. And he might hold them accountable along the lines of being not directly false prophets, but, you know what I mean? Just for lack of a better term, false prophets or false teachers. Because, you know, the average one of them might say, well, I'm not trying to be a teacher. I just made a YouTube video. Well, God will be like, well, don't you realize what you're doing with that video? With the title of the video to get people's attention? That video is accessible to everybody in the world. When someone in the world wants to learn something about God, about Jesus, about the end, about truth, they have to search for it. At the end of the day, I really think that at first I didn't think God would judge like this, but now I'm really thinking that when I thought about it from the perspective of, you know, like Ezekiel's story of the Watchmen are trying to do their duty and they cannot get their duty done. They're doing their duty, but nobody's hearing the message because it's being drowned out by this drivel. Okay, it's the ultimate travesty. It's the ultimate shame. Okay, the absolute ultimate shame. I think it's absolutely pathetic. Okay, for 7 years, I've been saying this, and you can't find a single one of my videos on YouTube today because all these people drowned out YouTube with this nonsense. You can go to YouTube right now, search 2024 Rapture and End Days. I have about 100 videos with that in the title. You won't find one of mine, but you'll find tons of other useless jargon. You could go watch about 5 hours of that jargon. You will not learn anything factual, nothing sensible. I'm promising you, because trust me, I look and look for it. I look and look for it. And there's nothing out there. And it dismays me. And I always think to myself, what will happen? What will happen if I'm right? And the end comes, okay? And everybody's caught by surprise. What's going to happen to all those people who didn't put in any effort, didn't put in any hard work, didn't stay up without sleep like I did often back in the day to get my Bible studies in, to do like 8 or 12 hours Bible study a day? They didn't do any hard work like that to solve the great mysteries of God in the Bible. They didn't do anything like that. They just clicked a few buttons on their computer and made a little YouTube video, parroted some information from off the internet, and they saw other stuff on YouTube, and there you go. See, that what they're doing, I think, as long as if that person's a Christian and they're doing that type of thing, they need to take the time to realize the implications of what they've done. Okay? Now, if they ignorantly, God bless their soul, think in their heart that they're right and they have some amazing revelation and they're just doing this innocently to proclaim what they feel is a true revelation, but in God's eyes, it's just really baloney, right? You can't blame them because they don't know. That's why I said before, people who mean well and sincerely mean it and think they're doing the right thing, you can't really knock them. They're just doing what they feel is right. But there's a lot of people out there who are not doing any hard work. Anyways, yeah, I don't need to repeat it anymore, right? But it is a severe disservice to the people trying to act as watchmen. And it's so disheartening to me that I spend so much time doing this and I just cannot reach people. It's just ridiculous. And you know, in case people say, why don't you take your book to your local churches and all that? I live in a small place, right? There's a lot of churches here, but they're all different denominations. And I'm going to be turned away by all of them. I might get one or two people might be interested, right? But I could reach more than one or two people on YouTube very easily. Like in 10 minutes, I could reach 100 people if I need to, right? So I'm not going to go out of my way to go do all that to be turned away by everybody except for possibly one or two people, okay? I've reached out to the world. I've asked the world for help. You could help by even just by, I hate to say it, subscribing and giving a thumbs up, because that will help me float up in the algorithm so that other people can actually see the proper scriptural proof for things. You could also help by getting the book. You can also help by getting the book and sharing the book so that more people hear about it. Because I've done all that I can. The only thing I can do further is gain the power of telepathy and start telling people in their brains, hey, and start teaching into people's brains. Can't do that, right? I've used my mouth, I've used YouTube, I've used books. I've done all that I can. The only thing left is telepathy, right? I don't even have enough money to pay my rent and my bills, so I certainly don't have the money to fly around on a fancy jet and go do lectures and stuff like that. So I've done all that I can. But I won't give up. I'll keep fighting for this because I'm a sinner and I don't think I'm worthy. I would like to be. I don't think I'm fully worthy of heaven. So maybe I owe it to God to keep pushing. Maybe this is part of my torment, right? To be so unfruitful with all my efforts. Um, there are times where I thought, okay, maybe I'm not successful enough because my sins, so I stopped sinning, I reformed, but then it doesn't really change. And I just think at the end of the day, it's not me. I keep demonizing myself, thinking, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? I think I'm still not perfect. Don't get me wrong. I do things that are wrong, but it's not me doing something wrong here in this. What is going wrong is all these other people saturating the town square, so to speak. And there's nothing I can do about that, right? But like I said, it would be funny because I bet you this video here will get lots of views. You know what I mean? But what can I say, right? Go to Amazon, get my book, help spread the awareness. I've said it a million times. That's all I can say. And if you want to get the other book, this one's just as important or more important, the True Theology. So anyways, I won't let it get me down. I won't let it dishearten me. But, if God comes someday soon, not assuming I'll know what my judgment is right at this moment now. If God comes and judges me one day, I'll just say, look, God, I did all that I could. I didn't give up. You know what I mean? I didn't give up. You can't take that away from me. I definitely pushed and pushed and pushed and tried and tried and tried. So anyways, take care, folks. God bless. I got some time, so I'll be trying to make some more videos here. Let me read some comments here real quick. Yeah, well, yeah, a huge portion of Christians are really just fake Christians, or if you're listening to a prosperity teacher, you either have very, very limited intelligence. Some people just naturally do. You know what I mean? God bless them. Although I do believe intelligence can be exercised like a muscle. But, anyways, some people do have limitations that others don't. But either you're simple minded if you're following a prosperity teacher, or I don't even know what to say. You just have to be simple minded. You know what I mean? I can't say corrupt because the corrupt ones there are the actual prosperity teachers. But yeah, so there's probably a couple 100 million of them in Christianity, unfortunately. Yep. So, anyways, let me get cracking on this video so it doesn't get too long. But I mean, I just have to say something on this, right? It's just true. I'm not going to achieve anything by making this video. I just got to get off my chest. But also, I kind of think that by me announcing this and verbalizing it helps spread it out there into the universe. So, where I said how God, will be upset, he will punish those who are blah, 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 basically distorting the work of the Watchmen. Not that I have anything against the people, but some action needs to happen on behalf of God in order for something to occur. I don't know what. I don't know if they're just going to receive the punishment in the afterlife, you know what I mean, at the judgment day. But something's got to happen. It's got to happen now or then. Something's got to happen where these people realize what they're doing is wrong and take a step down and to let the true watchmen shine, right? That's what needs to happen, because until that happens, no one's going to hear the truth. And if you haven't heard the truth, if you've heard baloney and you're not in the same boat, I'm sorry. Nobody could tell me it would be so unfair for people, like picture Noah and his ark, right? You got Noah and his family. They believed, and they were ready. They got on the boat. Then all of a sudden you get all these other people turning up. Oh, hey, Noah, let us on. We believe too. We believed all this time as well. Noah look at them and be like, really? I didn't know that. I thought it was just me and my family that knew. And all these other people, like, be thousands of, oh, no, but we heard all these people talking about that the end was coming. We believe that too. Let us on the boat. You really think God's going to let them on the boat just because they heard that the end was coming, but they didn't have any real valid reasons for it? You know what I mean? Maybe they're not even worthy to start with. But that's the same scenario here. The end day scenario, same thing as Noah's Ark, right? And we have people out there, all these people thinking that they're going to jump on that ark as well to be raptured away to safety, that they'll be taken away as well because, oh, I saw a YouTube video saying there was an eclipse over North America, which means that the end of days is coming. Are you going to tell that to Jesus? Jesus be like, well, didn't you know about the prophecy of Daniel? He'd be like, what do you mean by that? Wouldn't you know? Do you think people like that deserve to get on the the boat out of here? Do they really deserve it? I know if they're righteous people, yeah, of course they deserve to, separate from such biblical matters. But I mean, if you're the average person and you just turn up to Noah's Ark like, hey, I heard the world was ending, can you let me on? I believe it's ending too. Let me on. You really think they believe they deserve to get to go on? I in my heart I would like everybody to be saved type of thing, you know what I mean? But it doesn't seem fair to me. Doesn't seem fair to me, especially, and I think the ones that are going to take it worse are those teachers out there just polluting the airwaves with all this useless drivel, nonsensical drivel. I wouldn't name any other channel names because I'm not out here to do something like that, but all of them out there are just baloney. Absolute jargon baloney. You got people with giant whiteboards full of diagrams and sketches that they did. And I go and look at all their masks, look at all the stuff they're talking about. It's just worthless baloney. But they got the whole thing filled out with stuff, making it look super complex, right? So when people look at it, they're like, oh, wow, that looks really intense, right? But it's all useless baloney. You might as well go up to the deli meat counter and bang your head on some hams. It's going to do you about as much good, right? And you got all these other people. They got all these fancy special effects in their videos, and they got 2 million views I saw on one of these. This one guy had a video titled 2024 Proofs and this and that, same titles as my videos. He's got 2.5 million views. You go watch his video. What's he got in that video that has anything to do with the actual sound biblical reality, right? With what God warned. Where are those books, right? Where the heck did they go? Oh, yeah. Nobody with the millions of views. Not one person mentions any one of these 7 prophecies in here. Not one of them. So what is their reason for believing Jesus is coming? You know what I mean? What is their reason for believing? If God gave you an amazing complex puzzle to solve, which was the prophecy of Daniel, all those other prophecies in there that took a tremendous amount of work. For some people it would be lifetimes. Okay, the amount of hard work went into discovering those things in that book there for the end days. Okay, all those different prophecies, they're like puzzles, like impossible Rubik's cubes. And without God's help, I couldn't solve them, but he helped lead me to it. I had my own inward passion for it, don't get me wrong, but without God's help, I couldn't solve them. It's like solving a great galactic cosmic Rubik's cube. It's nearly impossible. It took me over 15 years to solve one of the elements of Daniel's prophecy. Ridiculous amount of hard work. Okay? And God didn't make it like remember in Daniel, he says, seal these words up of the prophecy because no one will understand until the end has come. Well, the end has come now. We're able to understand. The puzzles have been solved. God didn't put all those puzzles there for no reason. He didn't make those intricate mysteries and enigmas and puzzles with the numbers and all that for us to solve, for us to just sit there on our lazy behinds and ignore them and listen to some TikTokers and YouTubers yak about eclipses and stuff. Okay? God did not put all that effort into tailoring those puzzles, relaying those prophecies to those prophets so that everybody could ignore his prophecies and prophets and watch some TikTok and YouTube videos, to watch these wannabes out there who all they care about is seeing some extra views and maybe getting some cha-ching for their video view count, right? That is not what God spoke to the prophet Daniel for. He did not speak to the prophet Daniel to have some silly little TikTokers and YouTubers drown out the true watchmen of God in the end days. That's reality. So the more you think about it from that perspective, God has to do something. If he's not going to do something now, then at the judgment day, he will make a point. That's all I could say. And all those people, they might be blind to what they're doing and how much harm they're causing to all the other people on this earth. I mean, think about it, man. This book here, by all rights, I'm sorry, by all rights, this is better and more incredible than any other Christian book that I've ever read. This book deserves to be in every bookstore. It deserves to be on every Christian bookshelf, period. It's that epic. It is once in a lifetime of lifetimes, once in 6,000 years type of compilation of discoveries. It deserves to be everywhere. Easily. I mean, you got 2.5 billion Christians. I mean, it could easily have sold 1 million copies. But can you imagine how many millions of people that are out there in the world, if not billions, and not to mention all the non-Christians, how many billions of people are out there in the world who could have very well heard this message if it had just been given the chance to be heard? Millions of people would have this book in their home. Millions of people would be hearing it taught in church, more importantly. But nobody's hearing it. Sorry. Nobody's hearing it because of those aforementioned charlatans and wannabes. So God's not going to twiddle his fingers on this one here. He's going to do something, like I said. So I've prayed so many times, God's tired of hearing my blinking voice. That's all I could say. He'll just say, oh, not you again, right? Please, God, please help me to do this and to reach more people. He's probably sick and tired of that. Probably got cotton buds stuck in his ears. He don't want to hear me anymore, right? So I don't know. But anyways, take care, folks. God bless. I'll stay steadfast and always plow ahead. And there we go. Take care.